Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. I'm really sorry, I had a look at the screen just before I started filming, and I'm really sorry that this is always in shot. I've tried to push it over as far as I can, but it's my big roll of tracing paper that I bought from Moorplan, and you know, it's a big massive roll. It will keep me going hopefully a lifetime, but it sits here. There is a bit more space, I could probably push it back, but I do like to keep a few things on this table to use, so this is where it's been sitting. So I will be moving this room around eventually. I'll be having a revamp, so I'll try and do something different so it won't be in shot. But today I'm going to be talking about just 2 completed makes since I last saw you. I'm really sorry, alarm noise, maybe I'll stop a moment. Right, it's stopped now. Sorry about that. Just, yeah, there's an old window in this room that I think it's the only window apart from the landing that hasn't been changed since we lived here. And when my husband has took out all the old windows, they've not really been put in right, they've not been insulated right and things. So this room is probably the noisiest room in the house, unfortunately. Well, apart from the back, where if you saw my my cover stitch machine video, then that was really noisy because there's a conservatory, but that was more like the wildlife and the seagulls and everything that were making noise. But anyway, let's get on with the video. So yeah, I'm really excited about these 2 makes, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to bring this video because probably one, I want to talk a little bit about what I've done, just in case anyone wants to do what I did, and obviously I've got to give it a little bit of time. So the make that I want to talk about first is something dressmaking, and then the other one is knitting. But you might have seen this already. I posted it I posted it not yesterday, the day before, in a story just on a hanger, and then yesterday I posted it online with me wearing it. I had a few photographs taken and things, and I just had a bit of fun with the photographs. I did it, and it's the wildergown from the Friday Pattern Company. That's the what it looks like on the front of the pattern. Now, often when I make a pattern, sometimes I like to do a recreation photo. I do a split screen and I copy what the model's doing, just for, you know, just a bit of a laugh, really, you know, just a bit of fun. But I don't know, unless I went and got the fans out of the loft and timed it perfectly well, I don't think I'm really going to create that photograph all that easy, am I? I suppose there is the one on the back where she's looking a bit, she's got that kind of expression on her face, but yeah, but you can't really see what she's doing with the rest of her body, can you? So yeah, I just did my own thing. So I tried to do some at different angles. I did one spinning round. I did one wearing my coat because the lining matches the dress, and I did one because I thought, what am I going to wear on my feet? I'd really like some black biker boots, you know, for this kind of dress, because I don't wear this kind of thing usually. And I don't know if I've, maybe some photographs will be popping up while I'm chatting to you about it. So yeah, I thought some black biker boots might look really nice with it, which I don't own. But you know, who really wants to buy footwear? Because I can be a bit of a funny size. I often go for half sizes now. I think they've changed the sizing in the UK maybe a year or 2 ago, so I often try and get up half a size now, and if they don't do half a size in this particular shoe, I'm always a bit like, what do I do? So I don't really want to buy shoes, in all honesty, until I can actually go out and try some shoes. And I thought, have I got anything? Now, I'd kind of forgot, I have got some Converse, because I haven't worn them in such a long time with like the winter and things. I've only been wearing like boot type things, snow boots a lot of the time, you know, with the weather we've had. But yeah, but I think they looked okay. So I couldn't really get the dress and the shoes in at the same time, but I thought, oh, I'll have a bit of fun. So I did like a yoga pose, a tree pose, just to get the shoe in, just having a little bit of fun. I was amazed I could still do it actually, because I know I said I was going to do a bit of exercise before hair wash day, but I haven't been doing any. So the most exercise I've been getting is just, you know, the odd dog walk and things really. So then that's about it. So yeah, I've been a bit naughty really. So yes, anyway, so on to the makes. So basically, if you know a little bit of background behind this wildergown, I bought it as a kit from Guthrie and Garney with the fabric, 4 meters of this lovely animal print fabric. I want to say leopard print, but if you look at leopard prints, they don't have dots in the middle, but I wouldn't exactly say that it, look, it's not cheetah, it's not, oh, what's the other one? I can't remember what the other one's called. But yeah, so I just think it's just animal print. I couldn't match it up exactly to any kind of animal. But, so, and who is it by? It's called Radiance by Penelope Europe. It just happens to be, I've got the fabric, what I've got left laid out on the table under the tripod, and it just happens to be the band is sitting right in front of me, but I got it from Guthrie and Garney. And when I think I bought it quickly, because these Guthrie and Garney kits can sell out quite quickly if they're popular, and I saw the fabric, I thought, oh yes, and then when it came, I just didn't know if the dress was for me, because I come to the conclusion quite a long time ago that gathers aren't for me. I've never massively been into floaty fabrics, I've told you that before, and I'm not really into smock. So after I got it, I thought, really, what was I thinking? And I just really wasn't eager to make it. And then I was the pattern test. I'm sorry, I keep going on about this coat, but it just keeps cropping up because of the fabrics I've still got left and things. But I was a pattern tester for Jennifer Lauren Handmade. I bought some fabric to make this coat, and then I needed a lining, and then I didn't really want to spend any more money, and I got this and I used it. But when I checked it out, I'd still got quite a bit left. I didn't know how much. Then I decided I wanted to make the Amelia jacket by Sew Over It, which I've cut out all the pieces, haven't I? I've told you that before. And I wanted it, but I thought, should I see if I can get this wilder out of it first? Maybe I'll get the wilder top. Anyway, so I had a look on Instagram. I tried to inspire myself to try and make this wilder. It's a good idea doing that, seeing other people's versions. And I did see a version that I liked. I can't remember the Instagrammer name. I'll try and find the post and I'll pop a picture of it in here. Now, if you know the pattern well, you know, if you can see the picture now, it doesn't look like that. Basically, it's either a very long tiered dress or you have no tier and have a shorter one. But I quite fancied having the tier, but a shorter dress. I didn't want it too oversized. And people had said, oh, size down. But I think from what I can remember, I was measuring up at the smaller size anyway, so I couldn't really size down. So anyway, I decided I was going to make the dress. So all I did is I traced out the top half of the dress pattern. I didn't trace out the bottom because obviously I was going to do something different, and this person on Instagram didn't say what she actually did other than she thought she made it a bit short other than that, but I quite liked it. And so I made the top. Now the only I followed the instructions, but the only things I did differently on the top to the designer, now the top wouldn't look any different to the design, it was just some things I did inside, is I stay stitched the bias edges, which it doesn't say to do that, but there might be some hints on unless I go to their website if you want different ways. I can't remember. So it just tells you to sew in 5/8 of an inch seam. But what I did some stay stitching on the bias edges, which obviously took a bit of time, and it's slippy fabric. Then I did French seams, which obviously, so this took a little bit of time because I was doing stay stitching on the bias edges, and then I did French seams. And French seams, if you don't know, instead of like normally when you sew right sides together and then you flip it the right way out, you sew it wrong sides together, then you trim your seam and then put it right side together and then sew it again so your raw edge is enclosed. Now if it's 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, what you do is when you sew it wrong sides together, you sew it with 1/4 of an inch seam, trim it down by about half, you know, you press it and things, flip it the other way, and then you'd sew 3/8 of an inch on the other side, and then you've still got your 5/8 of an inch seam allowance if you've done it right, basically. So that is what I did. Now I've got it here. I'll see if I can show you inside, and that's how it looks inside. Look, nice and neat, no raw edges. And I did it on the, that was basically, it's a raglan sleeves. I've done that, and I've done it on the side seams as well. I'm just reminding myself. So I was really pleased with that. Now I tried it on just as the top, and do you know what? I really liked it. It was up here. It looked a bit like a crazy crop top, but I really liked it. And then I ummed and ahed because it was quite wide. I was thinking, oh, should I just make a peplum or something? I was still undecided about the dress. Anyway, I thought and thought about it, slept on it kind of thing, and I decided, no, I'm going to make the dress. So I decided to put it on, think about the seam allowance. I stood there with a tape measure wearing it, and I thought, where do I want my first bit to end? So I measured to where I thought I wanted it to end. Then I added a seam allowance to that, and I took into consideration the seam allowance that I needed here. So I basically had the top on, I put the tape measure 5/8 of an inch into the top, let it go all the way down, thought, where do I want that? Thought about that measurement and added another 5/8 of an inch seam, and that worked out. I got probably trying to round it up to make it easier, and I basically took the measurement of 14 inches. Now bear in mind I am 5'4", so if you're a 5'9", 10, you know, kind of girl, or even bigger than what I am, it might be too short if you did that measurement. But bear in mind, if you are a larger size than I am, the top might be a bit longer. I don't know, I'd have to look at the pattern pieces. Sometimes you've got more depth anyway, so, you know, but that's what I did and I'm 5'4". And then I didn't actually make the tier at that point, and I didn't even end up making a pattern piece for it either. Now, because I wanted to get the best out of my fabric, I drew out basically the pattern. I got the skirt pattern out and I did it the width that I should for the size I was doing, and I just measured down 14 inches and did that. So I didn't trace out, you know, their pattern at the bottom. And then what I decided to do then is I sewed it on. That was it, sorry. I put it on my folded fabric piece because the selvages were together, and my pattern piece was a little bit wider. But because I wanted to get the best out the fabric, I didn't really want to lay it out there and then lay it out again with it all open. And it wasn't much really. So my skirt will be slightly less gathered than the pattern, because I decided I wanted to cut my fabric out in the fold, and because I was cutting out the smallest size, it wasn't much of a difference. So I just knew I would have slightly less gather than everybody else, which I didn't mind, because I'm not into gathers usually anyway. So boxy oversized gathers is normally not my thing. So I was pushing myself out my comfort zone of what I like to wear anyway, making this. So then I put that on. I hadn't done the tiered bit, and then I tried it on, and I really didn't like it, right? And I'd spoke to my husband, and you have to stop doing it. I said, oh, really, I don't like this dress. I'm going to carry on making it, but I really don't like it. So anyway, I thought about what don't I like, and I thought about, shall I unpick the sides and make some ties and put ties in? So I imagined it with ties, and I pulled it back, and you know what, I still didn't like it with ties. I just didn't like how it looked. thought no. So I thought, how about elastic? Now bearing in mind, I hadn't looked at the instructions or anything to do with the skirt. Now later on they do speak about elastic. I have put elastic in, but I haven't done what they've said. But I'll tell you what, I ended up doing the elastic twice anyway before I'd even looked in the book. So I decided to have the dress on and I got some elastic. It was this elastic. I'll tell you how thick it is. In inches, it's a tad over 1/4 of an inch. In centimetres, I'll do it in millimetres, 7 millimetres, right, in thickness, this elastic that I just had in my stash. And I held it around me when I got the dress on where the seam was, and I thought, well, I don't want it really tight, I still want it loose. And I did this in the mirror. I folded it over, pinned it, and I got out of it, and I stitched it together, and I divided it into 4, divided the dress into 4, and I zigzagged the elastic into the seam allowance, the 5/8 of a seam allowance, because I decided I wasn't going to French seam that seam because I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I left it out. So, and I just had overlocked the edges previously. So I did that, and then I put it on, and I thought it was going to sort it, and I still didn't like it. It just still looked too oversized for me, and I just didn't like it at all. And I thought, no, I need to make that elastic smaller. Anyway, when I was picking at the elastic, I thought about, how about I make a channel? So that's what I decided to do. So I picked out the elastic. Where I joined the elastic, I cut that off. Then I put the elastic on me, and I thought, no, I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to make a channel, and then I can decide on the size of the elastic after. So I folded up the seam allowance up towards the bodice. I left a 4-inch gap at the back so I'll be able to thread something through. And from the inside, so I didn't do any back tacking, I basically pulled my bobbin thread out and my top thread. So I thought I'll tie those off after. And I stitched all the way around from the inside, and then I got all the way back and I left a 4-inch gap. Then I threaded my elastic through, got it to the size I wanted it, overlapped it, pulled it out, stitched it down, then pulled it back in, tried it on again, thought, yes, I love it. It looked a bit weird at the back where I hadn't done the 4 inches of stitching. It was hanging a bit weird. But once I went back over and stitched it, it just looked gorgeous, right? And even though I'm not a massive fan of gathers, I think it's because it's cinched in so much to my, it's not tight, but it's cinched in enough for me to feel happy and comfortable. And it's floaty fabric. It just sits nice. It doesn't add a load of bulk to my shape kind of thing. So I was really happy with that. And then I decided to cut out my tiers. I measured where I did the same thing again. I put the dress on. I put the tape measure 5/8 of an inch onto my finished skirt. Took it down, and then I had a look in the book and I found out the hem allowance, you're going to be turning your fabric over 1/2 an inch and 1/2 an inch again, so I needed to add an extra inch. So I decided to cut out my bottom piece, depth 8 inches, that's what I decided on. And then to work out how much I wanted around the outside, I worked out I wanted the width of my skirt, which I had already attached on, times 1.5. That was the sum. So I worked out that times 1.5. So then I had my piece. I did all the gathering and things. I did 2 lines of gathering stitches when I did all my gathering, and I did it in 2 halves. I didn't do all the gathering when I did the gathering here or here all in one big piece. I did it in 2 sections because I thought if I get any, you're more likely to have some breakage happen, aren't you, really? So I decided to do that. I only did 2 lines. Sometimes I might do 3 lines, but I did 2 lines this time. And then I hemmed it. It does actually say after you could use your rolled hem foot, and I didn't even think of that, but I'd already pressed up my hem twice all the way around and pinned it anyway, so I just decided to go with that. So yeah, I think that is everything. So I just wanted to say something to Angela from Devon Thread Tales, because I watched a recent video of Angela's and she's finally come to the conclusion she doesn't like gathered skirts. Now, Angela, I came to that same conclusion. It might have been about a year ago that I came to that conclusion, right? And this is the first time I've done another gathered dress kind of thing, and I've liked it. It depends on your figure, and I think Angela's very similar to me, and I think she likes the same kind of style as me in many ways. And I think what the thing might be, Angela, if you're going to wear gathers, maybe not too much gather, floaty fabric, and just make sure it's nice and fit, not tight but enough in here. I think maybe that might be the way to go, because I'm not going to totally rule out gathers now I've made this. I am, you know, I would do it again, because I'm really delighted with how this dress has come out. I was really concerned because of my sensory issues, how I would feel with all this fabric all round here. There's somebody at the door. Hopefully my husband might get that. Just see. No one seems to be going. Hang on, I'll just get the door. It was just the postman popping some letters through the door, and actually there is something for me. I'm going to open this and show it you while I think about it. It's a swatch from Eliza Mack Fabrics, and I have bought fabric from Eliza Mack before, and I asked her if she'd send me a swatch of this fabric, because I'm thinking of making my youngest son some pyjamas in this fabric. So yeah, it's really nice. So I'll test the stretch and I'll have a little feel of that later. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm itching to make him something before it gets too warm for him to wear them anyway. So is there anything I want to say about the wildergown? Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I was concerned about how it would make me feel because of my sensory issues and things, but because the fabric is so soft, and I haven't put any tags in it, I've done all French seams, yeah, it's really comfortable, and I'm really delighted with it. You know, and thank you so much. I've had some absolutely wonderful comments since I've posted it on social media. Hello.
What is for lunch?
I'll come in a minute, Don. I'm nearly finished now, okay? That's my eldest. Saying what's for lunch. So, the other completed make, I think that's everything I want to say about it. If there's anything else, I'll let you know. But yeah, thank you so much for all the lovely comments on social media. It's been really nice, you know, and especially when I thought I don't like this dress and I was making it, and I thought I was just going to do it anyway, and I absolutely love it. And I've got it out on here, and I think I'm going to have enough to line my Amelia jacket. So I know I should be getting on with my frugal frock. There's somebody at the door again. Do I answer it? I think my husband might be out there. I'm not going to worry. Hang on, no, somebody's ringing the bell. Hang on. Right, yeah, it's for my husband. It's his cousin picking up some tool and his friend. And but then my husband's come out now, so I did go to the door and spoke to them. But yeah, so I think this video is on about 20 something minutes. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time. I'm really sorry about that. So yes, the other completed make, right? So when I was in my last video, I did show you this yarn, and I can't believe actually I was sitting there rubbing it on my face, but it's that kind of yarn. That's what you want to do. And now I got it in a part of a kit, but I promised people I would bring the ball band on, but I couldn't find it, but I found it now, and it's actually Cider Alpine, it's called. Can you see that? So it's Cider Alpine Luxe Fur Effect yarn. It was 50-gram ball. I had 2 balls of this for this project. There's 33 meters in it, 36 yards approximately. It's 100% polyester. And it's suitable for 10mm needles, or a size 15 needles in the USA, and 10mm crochet hook. and I think it's a 15 crochet hook in USA. So yeah, so I'll tell you the gauge. You do your tension gauge is you do it over 10 by 10 centimeters or 4 by 4, and it's 12 rows of 8.5 stitches. So I know people were interested in that, and I got it as a part of a kit. So I don't know where you can buy that, because I obviously got it as a kit, but this is what I've knitted. Isn't he lovely? I'll pop some photographs on the screen. Hopefully you can see his eyes. He's so fluffy. Sometimes you've got to, I don't know whether to trim round his eyes a little bit so you can see them, but this is Harry, and he's he's a bigger version of the little Scruff the dog I showed you last time, but it's the same designer, and I just fell in love with him, and I've made his little bandana, and it comes with this little button, and there are some little accessories, and so far the only thing I've knitted is the dog bed. That's it. Oh, there's a bit of a thread in there. So yes, I've knitted the dog bed up. That's quite a chunky kind of yarn, and he just about sits in there actually, and it's just so cute, isn't it? I'm just in love with him. So I have got some other little bits to knit. I've got to knit his lead and collar, and there's like a few little jackets and the buttons are in there. So yeah, so I'll be bringing him back again to show you with some different clothing, which is nice, isn't it? Now so that's up and coming. A little bit more knitting. I'm going to carry on with that. Then I'm going to start doing a bit of crochet when I've done that. Like, I know something that could throw a spanner in the works is I'm a member of Mandy Shaw's Secret Society, and I get a package every month. So sometimes I think that might come, well, it won't come today now, the postman's been, but that might come probably tomorrow. I know some people have got theirs already, but I'm not normally as lucky as that. I'm normally one of the later ones. So yeah, sometimes that things can get put down while I'm doing that kind of thing, so we'll just see what happens. Now I have made a promise that when I make Ottoline here, I'm going to do a little bit of footage of me making that. I'm not going to obviously sit there filming me doing the whole thing, but any key areas that I think are of importance I'm going to show you. Obviously I haven't made one myself yet, so I'll be learning how to make Ottoline as I go, kind of thing. But I think it'd be really useful for my mum to see how I stitch, because obviously my mum can't come round. Mum says she just wishes she could sit with me while she's making her Luna. She has started making Luna, and yeah, so I wish I could sit with her actually. But yeah, so mum might enjoy that, and I've had a viewer. I think a few people have been interested. Somebody's asked me if I'll make the badger. Now, I haven't got the badger, but I really do like the badger. So maybe after Ottoline, when I've done Ottoline, maybe I'll make the badger then as well, and I'll do a bit of footage making that as well. So, but obviously, please give me a bit of time, because obviously I'm quite free-spirited. I just do whatever normally, but now I'm in this challenge. Obviously I've got to do this dress. Now I'm designing my own dress, aren't I, right? But because I've got all this Amelia jacket, and I'll show you the Amelia jacket, I've got all these bits cut out, and I've got all this lining fabric I want to use. I kind of just want to get that. So even if I get all the interfacing cut, maybe all my lining cut, maybe I could pile it up somewhere and say I'll do that another time, and maybe start thinking about designing my dress. But as well as the design, I've obviously got to sort the fabric. Now, I'm not the sort of person that just keeps buying loads and loads of dressmaking fabrics. I've been given a few scraps of things and I buy in. Now, I was in Hayley Jane's what do you call it, box, she used to have the So Hayley Jane boxes basically. I was in that for about 14 months, and I will admit I did receive quite a few fabrics that I haven't used, but I think what it is, a lot of them are very floaty, and I wasn't really the floaty kind of dress girl, but I have made a floaty one now. But it's just because I probably didn't have the patterns, or the patterns weren't screaming out at me. So yes, it's a bit of a funny one really, isn't it? Because I've got to basically pile up my fabrics basically, my wovens, my jerseys and things, and see what I've got. Now I have got a maxi dress that my mum gave me that's too big, that's sitting in my wardrobe. I might hack that up. And my mum, sometimes she's tried to give me old dresses that she doesn't wear anymore, and I've tried to, and I've sometimes turned them away because I've just got so much stuff I've got to store. I don't really want to say, yeah, I'll have all your old dresses and things, because, it's be a bit crazy, wouldn't it? I'm a bit of a hoarder anyway, and I don't need any encouragement hoarding more things, kind of thing. But I could always go and say to Mum, is there any dresses or anything? Get to send me some photographs on WhatsApp. So, but I have noticed some people they're saying, I watched Becky Notes from the Sewing Rooms video this morning, and Becky was saying, she might use a pattern that she's had free with a magazine. And also Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door has heard her video the day before, and she's on about having patterns that have come free with magazines. Now, I didn't even consider that, so that's another option. But I still, regardless of what I end up doing for this frugal frock, I am going to still design my own dress for like date night and things. Maybe I'll make other dresses as well, I don't know. So I've just got to see what I've got. And somebody did comment on my video going, what fabric are you using? And I have had a few dislikes on that video, and it's so funny because I often get a dislike on my videos. I either get none or one, and I think I've had two, and the last time I checked I'd had about 4 on that video, a record number of dislikes on a video. But never mind. But Mum, don't get upset. My mum, actually, when I dropped round the Luna bits for her birthday, I was stood at the doorstep, my mum was really upset that I'd had dislikes on my video. I was like, Mum, just don't take it to heart. I was going, you're not a real YouTuber unless you get a few dislikes, So yeah, so maybe it's because I didn't show the fabric I was planning on using. Maybe it's because I didn't say a pattern I was using. I don't know. There was something people didn't like about it anyway, but never mind. You can't please everybody. And I do know my style of YouTube videos are quite different to a lot of YouTubers, because when I started doing these, I wasn't watching sewing vloggers, so I kind of got my own kind of style of talking about things. And it wasn't until I started watching other dressmaking vloggers I realised there was a bit of a pattern in their style where, they kind of do this is the fabric I've bought, this is what I'm thinking of making. Then at the end of the month or the start of the next month, they show what they made with it and kind of thing. And it seems to be a bit of a pattern across the dressmakers. And mine's a bit more erratic, isn't it? And I go off here, there and everywhere. So I'm sorry about that. I know my videos aren't going to be for everybody, but I know that I do have some people that like them. So, and thank you to the new subscribers I've got as well. So anyway, I'm going to go now. So yeah, I've got, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in here. I do know I'm going to be cutting out my lining from my Amelia jacket from Sew Over It, and I'm going to be knitting some more of Harry's little things. And then I suppose I need to start thinking about my my frugal frock. And I have traced out the when I say traced, do you know I downloaded the Morning Glory top, the one, so excuse the name, but yeah, I downloaded that, and basically you have to draw it out yourself, and basically you draw it onto fabric. Now I thought, well, if I really like this top, I might want to make it again. So I've done mine onto paper. I had to do things slightly differently because I was doing it onto paper. So I've got a pattern now for that top. So I probably would have been doing that quite soon on, but because of this frugal frock now, I've bought myself one hell of a challenge, haven't I, really? I probably should have just said I'm making a pattern, and it'd have been a bit quicker and easier than designing it myself. But do you know what? It's going to have that sense of achievement, isn't it? If it works, it might not even work. So it might be an absolute disaster, and I might have a sad face on the 31st of March when we're meant to show our frugal frock. Maybe I could knock something up quick, maybe, I don't know. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to bringing you what I've got to bring you next time. So thank you. Oh, before I go, I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Peggy top by Fiona Hesford, who is Sew Girl, and she's got a blog, and she's got Instagram and things, and she's got a shop on Etsy. And I actually got this fabric from her. I bought it in a lovely little paper bag, and it had the fabric in it, and it's really nice. It's got like nice cuffs with elastic in and things, so you could wear it like down. It doesn't. They don't really go. This doesn't really go with these jeans. I prefer to wear like white with it, really. But I wanted to wear something handmade in my video, and these are quite comfortable. For lunch now, I'll probably get back in my leggings and my sweatshirt, in all honesty, but I just wanted to put something on in my video. But it's really lovely, this is. It's just straight. I tend to wear it tucked in. It's got a nice big hem band. Well, you know, you're facing, you stitch it, and I've done it in quite a contrasting, so that stands out. And you've got like a split hem thing at the side, and I've done it in a bold stitching on the top here as well. That's the length of it, how it sits like normally. But I like tucking in a little bit like this and letting her back hang out, or I like to be all tucked in. But I wouldn't really wear it with these jeans out, you know. I'm just wearing it in this video. It is very similar to another pattern, the cowl cuff top. The cowl cuff top, I think they've got like a stitching line down the front. Maybe there's a seam there, or I don't know if it's decorative. But what swung it for me with this one, well, I love Fiona anyway. I really love Fiona, but I really liked the shape of this neck. I think the cowl cuff top, I think it's got a straighter neck, don't quote me on it. And Fiona's has got a dart in it, and I like a dart, and I didn't have to put my own dart in. I would have probably put a dart in with the cowl cuff top. Yeah, but maybe I'd make the cowl cuff as well. Maybe you don't like doing darts, you know. But this is a lovely top, and I've only seen the other one on the cowl cuff top online, but this is the Peggy top by Fiona Hesford Sew Girl, and I do really recommend it. It's really lovely. So that's it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.